Businesses are not doing as well as they thought they're going to do. People are holding on to their money. There's a lot of unsureties in life. What up, ladies and gents, boys and girls? Welcome to your boy, Francois Le Roux, the Rockstar Sales Coach. And yes, so for those guys watching on Patreon, for those guys watching on YouTube, it's always fun to just chat. So it's the beginning of 2024, right? It's been a tough 2023. I think businesses are fairly under pressure right now. When you travel around the whole December vibe, like we say in South Africa, December vibes, it's tough. Businesses are not doing as well as they thought they're going to do. People are holding on to their money. There's a lot of unsureties in life. And then when I speak to entrepreneurs, it feels like there's a panic station kicking in, right? So they're all like, yes, we're not going to spend a lot of money right now. We don't know how the next year is going to go. We actually don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to budget and we're going to, make sure that there's enough funds for next year. And then I often look at them and say, I don't fully understand or grasp the concept of what you're trying to tell me right now. Last time I checked, we are entrepreneurs. Now I think, devised an idea process or a thought process over the last couple of years of dealing with hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs. And that thought process was simple. Most entrepreneurs are sheep and not wolves. And I'm going to explain this, right? Sales is what happens when your real life did not work out. Nobody plans on going into sales when they're very young, okay? They always think of some elaborate job like I'm going to become a teacher or a fireman or, marine biologist or some solid job because your mom and dad encouraged you to do that. Your mom and dad said, get yourself a solid job, study for 4 or 5 years to get a certificate or a diploma, and then the job's going to come and then you get that job. Get that employment that you wanted, and the paycheck's not what you want to be. And what I've realized is, once you're like 4 or 5 years old, okay, sometimes younger, but 4 or 5 years old, you usually go to like a preschool. And in preschool, they tell you when to go to playtime, when you go eat, when you go nap time, and then you go to primary school. In primary school, they tell you when school starts, when there's a lunch, when there's a second lunch break, or like we call in South Africa, a poser, and then when does rugby practice start, and then you get home, and then what time do you have to go bath, and what time do you have to go sleep, and you get to high school. Now, high school, when do you start school, and what time is the break time or the lunch break time, and then that goes on till about 18, 19 years of your life. Now, one or two things happen then. So either A, you don't have the money to go study further, and your father and your mother are gonna, tell you, listen here, go get yourself a job. And that CEO or owner of the job tells you when to be at work, when is your lunch break, when is your tea break, when is your smoke break, when do you clock off, when do you go home. So for your whole life, or your part of your development, somebody has told you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it consistently. And that's what we call sheep. Now, if you don't tell that person what to do, they would just do nothing. That's a sheep mentality. Now, when you become an entrepreneur, and which a lot of people, their life doesn't work out, it's not their fault. Society happens, financials happen, companies close down, you move for some reasons. And then all of a sudden, the only profession that is consistently hiring staff, the only profession is sales or business or some form of, being a rep or going out and seeing clients. That's the thing that's hiring right now. So all of a sudden, you are in a different mindset. When I started my business, luckily I've never worked for a salary in my life. I've always worked for commission. So I was taught from a very young age, get up very early in the morning, make sure that you are ready to rock and roll by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you work till your day is done. Now, if that is 4 o'clock the afternoon, 9 o'clock the evening, or 11 o'clock, the evening, it doesn't matter, because wolves hunt consistently. And the most difficult thing for me as a sales coach in Africa and around the world is to help entrepreneurs understand how to move from being a sheep, being told what to do, when to do it, how many to do it, what time to do it, and how late to do it, to go from that sheep mentality into creating a wolf. and a wolf gets up, he develops a pack around him, he runs like the wind. There's a very great saying that I always tell my son: the legs feed the wolf. So in other words, a wolf is known for tiring out his prey, consistently cold calling, running the numbers, making sure it's always there. And one of the greatest things that we teach during our sales training courses is how to turn sheep that used to work for salaries, used to walk in the straight lines, how to change those sheep into wolves and get them to hunt, and make sure that the hunting is so profitable that you can feed the whole pack that's around it. So one of the things I want to encourage you guys is, when you are going to be a salesperson, when you're going to be an entrepreneur, the watch is very important. But the only reason why the watch is important is not to see when you have to go home. It's not to see when you take your lunch break. The watch is important because it tells you how many hours of the day you have still left to hunt. And you have to make that really, really efficient. One of the biggest problems that salespeople have is they tell me stuff like, I budget. I don't budget. I don't have to. I have an unlimited income. I can get in my car right now. I can get on my bicycle right now. I can get, on the train right now if I have to, in a taxi if I have to, and I can still go see clients. And if I can't make business from one client, I have to see 2. If I can't make it from 2, I have to see 8. And if I can't make business from 8, you need sales training first of all. But if you can't get business from 8, I'm going to do 12. Because I am going to continue to hunt every day till I make money. And once you develop that kind of sense, then you get to a stage every single day of your life where you are closing deals and making money. And that is when business starts to become fun. It is not fun when you sit back and you send 1,000 emails, which is the most horrific thing you can do. It is not fun when you're sending out WhatsApps, and you're promoting marketing everywhere on social media. That is just part of your brand building, and that's okay to do that. It's very important to have brand building. My company has brand building, but the most important thing, this video that you're seeing right now, is brand building. But it's not the way I get my clients. The way I get my clients is I still get in my car, I still go see clients, I still knock doors, I shake babies and kiss hands, right? That's unfortunately part of being an entrepreneur, is you have to move and shake. And now you tell me, Francois, but my clients, I'm not getting the right kind of clients. Well, here's the concept. And it's a very important concept. Often when clients, go into an industry, and let's say for a second, I hang out or I have a company that does pest control. I'm just going to take an industry, pest control, right? Get rid of, bugs and mice and these kind of things, rats. And then I ask the people, where do you hang out on weekends? And they're like, oh yeah, bro, I hang out with my friends. Okay, how many of your friends own companies or have friends that own companies that can introduce you to them? And they're like, no, nobody. They all work for companies. So, okay, so if you're not hanging out with the clientele that you're looking for, how are they going to first of all, know about you, introduce to you? Then you have to do the tough part. So if you're not hanging out in the crowds that you want to sign or that want to do business with you, you'll have to spend your whole week doing cold calling on companies that don't actually want you. And that's where it becomes tough. So you have to learn how to entrepreneur. It's not natural. And this is the biggest problem with every single sales company I've ever worked with. And I've worked with hundreds of thousands of companies. They get a great salesperson like you. If you're watching this video, they got a great salesperson. They taught you everything about the company. Okay, they taught you everything about the competition. They taught you everything about the product. So that is what most companies, 99.7% of all companies do all around the world. They teach you product knowledge, they teach you market knowledge, they teach you how the ins and outs works and your competition, and then they say, good luck. And then all of a sudden you have to go out and crush business, but you've never been formally trained to crush business. You haven't been taught negotiational skills, overcoming objection skills. That's the stuff they're not teaching you. And at Rockstar Sales Coach, this is the only thing we're worried about. We're not motivational coaches. I'm not a motivational coach. I'm kind of an asshole, right? So I'm not a motivational coach. What we are teaching you is how do you actually make appointments on the phone? How do you go to those or make appointments at the door? Walk into a business, walk into a client's house, and then actually get him to sit down and have a conversation. We teach the method. What do you say? How do you say it? Then from there, what we do is we go out and say, cool, the customer's going to be interested. But then he's gonna, throw you some fluff. Bro, I'm not interested right now. This is not the right time. We're waiting for this, and this. I have to speak to my partners. I have to speak to my wife. These are all fluff objections. What do you say and how do you say to overcome that objections so your client re-engages the sales process? This is very important, and a lot of salespeople are not being taught this. What business owners don't know is they are only looking at what they are making every year. That's what business owners do. They go to their books at the end of the month and say, "Hey, I made so much this month." Business owners don't actually calculate how much they have lost this year. By how many clients have walked into your door and then walked out with their money, or you went into their meeting, went into the negotiation process and walked out without a deal. And the reason for that being is because your skill level wasn't at a level where you could convert this. And this is why sales training is one of the, I would say, dying industries in the country. Everybody teaches motivation. Everybody says to you, "Hey, listen here, think bigger." Okay, you can think as big as you want. If you're getting objection after objection after objection and you lack the skill set to overcome that, it's going to absolutely crush your business. So, from my side, if you guys are looking for great sales tips, negotiation tips, overcoming objection tips, go out to our Patreon page. The link will be after this video. Go out to our Patreon page, subscribe there, it's free. And if you want to see some of our sales videos and training videos for yourself or your offices, all you do is click on the tier 1 or tier 2, and from there, all of our videos are available to you. From my side, I hope you guys have an absolutely rockstar sales life. Cheers.